Hello YouTube. I've done the unspeakable. I've done 2 reviews, somewhat reviews, on this film, but I've not watched the film. But Saturday night, I said, you know what? I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it as a whole, and I'm going to do a review on it. This video will contain spoilers, so if you haven't seen the movie, or if you're not even planning on seeing the movie, continue to watch. And the movie that I speak of is one of the most disturbing movies of the year, The Human Centipede. Now I'm going to run you through the movie bit by bit. So, starts out, the doctor dude is on the side of the road, and he's like getting off to, not getting off, but he's like rubbing these pictures of the dogs that he had made into a human centipede. 3 Rottweilers asked him out, but they died. So a truck driver pulls up behind him and runs in the woods to take a shit. So Buddy comes out, the doctor guy comes out of his car with a tranq gun, shoots the truck. That's the beginning sequence. Then we go to 2 girls who are traveling through Germany on a road trip, traveling Europe, doing that thing, and they're supposed to be going to a nightclub to meet some guys, and they get improper directions, or they don't have directions at all, and end up going down the wrong road, wrong turn. They end up getting a flat tire and they break down. While they're on the side of the road, the funny part is this German, like old sick man with like a wife beater, and he's like smoking a cigar, pulls up beside their car, and they're like, can you help us, we have a flat tire, do you know how to do it? And he's talking German to them, and there's German subtitles, and he's talking about how he has porno movies with them in him at home, and he wants to bang them and all this shit, like sick stuff, and they're like, can you help us? They don't know what he's talking about, and he just keeps going on with all this sick, perverted sex shit. And then the girl's reading through like a translation book, like English to German, and she's like, oh god, he's saying fuck, roll up the windows. And then they roll up the window, and Buddy like sits there for a little bit, and it's really creepy, and then he takes off. But they're like, okay, well, we can't stay here all night, we have to go. So they end up leaving, walking into the woods. I don't know why they left the road to go into the fucking bush, but anyways, they find the doctor's house. He answers the door, creepy as hell. They come inside. They ask him if he can call AAA or whatever. So he goes in the kitchen, fakes calling AAA, like he's talking out loud to make them think that he's on the phone, but he's not really on the phone. And he makes 2 glasses of water, and in the 2 glasses of water he drops date rape drugs. So he brings them back. He gives them to the one girl, gives it to the other girl. The one girl drinks hers, fine. The other girl accidentally spills hers. He gets a little bit angry, takes off. He's like, shit, what am I going to do now? So he goes and gets a tranq, like a needle. And then he comes back upstairs, and her friend's like passing out, like, ugh. And the doctor's like, yes, date rape drug. And he's all telling her about the shit, and she's like, what? And then he stabs her with the needle, and then they're out. And then they wake up, and they're in his basement, like, laboratory, where he's, like, doing these surgeries and shit. And the 2 girls are strapped in the bed, and then the trucker guy is in the bed, too. But he walks up to the trucker guy, and he's like, okay, well, you're too fat, you're too big for what I need to do, so I have to kill you now. You know too much. So he puts, like, a syringe in his, like, IV and kills Buddy, because I guess he was too big to complete the human centipede with these 2 small girls. So then the guy goes out, the doctor guy goes out, and tranks another Japanese, Korean, I'm not too sure of his descent, guy that's smaller, and brings him in. And so it's the 3 of them. And they all wake up again, and the doctor's there with the projector and everything, and he's like, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the human centipede with the gastric bypass system, 100% medically accurate. And it's like crazy, ass to mouth. It's pretty sick. I'll admit, this is probably the sickest movie I've seen. Not sick. I think I liked it because it was original. It's new. You know, it's not the same old shit. Anyways, shit goes down, and a girl manages to get away. Like, one of the girls manages to run off and do whatever and escape in the house, and he starts chasing her down, and she gets into this room, he's banging on the door, he's like, open this door! Like, really scary shit. And she's in this room, and she's like, I'm gonna get out of here. And she opens up these blinds, And he's there with like goggles and like a lab coat and a big axe, and he fucking busts through the window. Finally, he gets her back because she goes into like he has an indoor pool in his house, and she's in the water, and he's like, "Get out of the water!" And he has a gun, and he's like shooting her like a tranquilizer gun, and he's like shooting at it to her in the pool, and he's like, "Fine." And then he clicks the button to get the pool cover to go over, and it covers her up. But I mean, she doesn't get away. Obviously, she doesn't die either. And because she fucked around like that, he's like, "I'm making you the middle." So she doesn't talk, she doesn't do shit all, she's in the middle. And the surgery goes well and everything, so the Chinese guy's at the front, he doesn't speak any English, so throughout the movie you're seeing him speak, but there's subtitles at the bottom. Sometimes the doctor talks mostly in German, so there's subtitles there too, but the girls do speak English, but you don't hear them speak because they're fast enough. But anyways, goes on, goes on, goes on. He's trying to get them to train him to walk. He's got them in a cage and stuff like that. And what's happening is the girl at the end, she's starting to die because she's not getting nutrients. The thing that I thought was really sick is they're in the yard and he's trying to teach him how to walk. And the Asian guy is like, "Oh my God, I need to shit." And he's like, "I'm so sorry." And he's like crying and he's like taking a shit. And what happens when you take a shit in your ass to mouth? The girl has to eat the poop, and he's like, "Eat it, bitch, eat it, swallow it, swallow it." The German guy's like all getting crazy, and anyway, the girl in the end is starting to die. Like her surgery is getting all infected because she's not getting nutrients. It's not working well. So what he's like, "Well, you need to be replaced." So anyway, these cops come. Two cops come to the house, and they're like, "Well, one of your neighbors heard an American girl screaming in your yard. You want to know what's going on? Can we look in the basement?" He's like, "No, you have to come back with a warrant." So they end up coming back, but in the meantime, while they're gone to get their thing and come back, the human centipede turns on the doctor, and the Asian guy in the front stabs the doctor, bites the doctor, so he's crawling around, he's dead, you know. There's this crazy scene where they're crawling around, getting upstairs, doing shit, pulling on the, anyway. They finally get upstairs, and the Asian guy's like saying all this stuff about how he wasn't great to his family and this is his punishment, and the Asian guy, the front of the centipede, slits his throat. So he's dead. Like the front part of the centipede is dead. So the middle girl's like, "Oh my God, like what the hell am I gonna do?" But she's like, anyway, and then the cops come back, and there's ended up like a thing between the cops and the doctor ends up getting shot in the head, and the other guys end up dying because they got shot or whatever happened to them, like just from being bleeding and shit like that. And then what happens is that the two girls are there, and they're like, "Oh my God, what's happening?" But what happens is the girl in the end dies. Like she's been dying, but she finally died. So all it is, the movie ends with the chick in the middle, alive, with two people. She's connected ass to mouth, can't speak, can't move, and she has two dead people in each end of her. And it just drifts off into the clouds. I have to say, it's a crazy movie. If you haven't seen Human Centipede, check it out. I definitely give it 10 out of 10. Like, I loved it. I'm not going to say I loved it. People are going to be like, "That guy's sick." The way he explained that movie, he's sick. He loved it so much. But I thought it was great. I thought it was original. And yeah, that's my review on Human Centipede. Check out my two other reviews on the bottom regarding the game and the trailer I did a while back. But thanks for watching. Sorry for such a long vid, and sorry for the spoilers, people.